so much of what we doubt hides superpowers underneath. Like you're doubting something about yourself, and it actually is either something you actually behold that is powerful and you're just not seeing it. And when we're doubting and we think doubt is the final say, we literally can't see it. It's over here, but we're focused over here at the doubt. Or it's an invitation because it's telling you this is what my clients are experiencing. And it's helping you connect with what to address for them.
I'm Candice Rodarty, and you are listening to Gratitude Geek, the podcast for female solopreneurs over 40, building genuine, lasting connections with clients, colleagues, and community. Today, I'm joined by self-trust coach Dawn Ledet, and we are talking about trusting yourself as a small business owner. So welcome, Dawn.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I've been looking forward to it. I know we're going to drop some amazing gems for your listeners today. And I am just excited to talk more about self-trust as a strategy, not as mindset fluff, not as affirmations that we lie to ourselves, but true strategy, because it actually impacts the 3 skills it takes to achieve anything. So I talk a lot about shutting down sabotage. I talk a lot about not lying to yourself, but really formulating a strategic, trust-fueled cycle of success. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
You and I agree that affirmations are lies. So we definitely need to talk about that. But before we do, introduce yourself to the audience. What would you like people to know about you?
Just know that that is my mission. I am known as the self-trust coach. I am changing the way we lead ourselves so that we can lead our businesses and others effectively and efficiently, so that we can show up as our best selves and achieve the things we want to achieve. So I have always looked at self-trust through the lens of setting and achieving goals, because I've always been a high achiever, what I would identify as a high achiever. And what I noticed about 7 years ago is that I was achieving a lot, and I was doing it operating with very little self-trust. And I had a very big aha moment. I had forced myself to sell my car, because that was the only way I could actually get myself to go to work at a normal time, because I would have to walk 2 miles through the city. I live in New Orleans. And it would make me move my body, of course, and also leave work at a normal time, because I have to walk through the city of New Orleans to get home. And so I had this aha moment during one of those walks where, by the way, I thought I was so brilliant. This was the best idea. And I said, why am I having to force myself? Why am I having to go through this extreme measure to make myself work the hours I want to work, to make myself move my body? And at that moment, when I had that thought, it was like a rush, a flood of evidence of all the ways I had been operating in that same way, operating with a lack of self-trust. And what I noticed was that building self-trust, not only recognizing where we have gaps in our self-trust, but building it is so effective through the lens of setting and achieving goals. Because I truly believe it only takes 3 skills to achieve anything. Make decisions, follow through, have your own back, and do that on repeat. And when we do that fueled by self-trust, your success is inevitable.
That have your own back piece, that's the trusting.
It's actually in all of it, because we see the lack of self-trust in the belaboring decisions, in the delaying decisions, in the over-researching, the over-gathering information, the looking externally, in the rash decisions on the other side of that. In the follow-through, it's when we don't move forward, when we keep procrastinating, or we get into those perfectionist tendencies. Those are reflections of a lack of self-trust. The have your own back piece is where we get to grow it the most, because it's so fun. The piece of have your own back is evaluation for data, not drama, and celebration. And you're celebrating it all. Celebration, often people think, again, is fluff. It's some sort of like affirmation, if you will. Celebration is strategic. It's how we build internal momentum and motivation. So we want to celebrate the wins. We want to celebrate the lessons. And we want to make sure that we are connecting to those, because that is how we continue to move forward and make the very next best decision. Follow through on that and repeat.
I kind of feel like you also need to celebrate your failures.
That's the lesson. Yeah. So we don't want to just collect failures. We want to learn from them. So we have to evaluate for data again and not drama. Not every failure was a total wash. There are gems in it that we want to mine. There are things that worked, that we did well, that we decided and still followed through on. All of that is worth celebrating. And then we want to mine for what didn't and learn from it.
I think that every failure is a lesson, not just some of them. The lessons that you learn, I've never been divorced, so I can't speak from personal experience, but I imagine that when you get divorced, you can celebrate that you had a marriage, that you fell in love, and you can and remember that the feeling that you felt when you fell in love, and remember all the good things, and then evaluate the things that didn't work out so that you can improve for the next marriage or the next relationship. So, and that for a lot of folks, that's like the biggest failure, and there are failures that are out of your control, but for the most part, it's the choices that you make that lead to the results.
Yeah. And let's be honest, like every decision we make leads to consequences. Some we like, some we don't. And it doesn't make, even when the consequences are things we don't like, to use your analogy of a divorce, it doesn't make the original decision wrong.
Correct.
We have to own our decisions and recognize that we made the decision based on the information we had at that moment. And it was still the decision, still one you did, even if it didn't turn out. So that's a big piece of self-trust, is not throwing the whole experience out the window just because it didn't end the way you wanted it to. We want to collect all the goodness along the way.
And so let's talk about this trust factor, because if somebody has a big failure, they tend to not trust themselves to make another big decision.
Yeah, which is such a mistake, right? That's the all or nothing thinking that so many of us do. And that is the default. And so we have to intentionally, that's why building self-trust is not taught and it's not innate. In fact, what we start with is often slowly stripped away from us throughout our lives, not maliciously in most cases, some for sure, right? But in most cases, it's just through, the outside noise that we hear, and we start to think maybe they're right over me, or maybe their way is better. And it's through that we start eroding our self-trust. So we have to intentionally build it. And so that all or nothing thinking of, oh, I made that decision that I didn't like, it didn't turn out well, and now I can't trust myself to make decisions, is dismissing all of your brilliance, all of your strength, all of the resilience that you built along the way. And those are all the things you need to make the next decision.
So you make this huge decision as a business owner to own a business, and then let's say your first marketing campaign is a failure. That doesn't mean that you should close your business. It just means you need to learn from what happened with that marketing campaign and adjust it for the next time. Or maybe you didn't do enough audience work, and the service that you're offering is appealing to a different audience than you thought it was going to appeal to. And maybe if you don't want to work with that audience, you need to adjust the offering. I mean, there's so many ways to tweak. You're right. It's data mining.
Yeah. There's 3 questions that we can invite your audience to ask themselves when they're data mining. Is just what worked, and look for all the what worked. Don't automatically shut it down as nothing, because that's our tendency. That's the all or nothing thinking. Really dig in. What did work? What do I like about how I showed up? What do I like about what I learned? What information I gained? Connections I made? Anything. Then what didn't work? What am I not pleased with? What do I not like about how maybe I showed up or how I planned it? Sometimes it's as simple as I just made it too big of a block of time, or I didn't cut it down in small enough pieces, or didn't include the time to learn the tech before I tried to jump in. And then finally, what will I do differently based on this information?
And that what will I do differently? That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key. So I just finished a 100-day project within my community. We have this thing called Livability Lab. I live in West Michigan, and our town does this. It's the 5th year that they've done this, and it's this amazing project. The community comes together. Well, first of all, the Livability Lab does a lot of data mining and research and determines where the gaps are in the community. What does the community think is missing from what's available in the town? And so then people in the community come together and say, hey, I want to make the community better. And they pitch ideas on how to improve. And then the people who pitch ideas, other people in the room say, I can get behind that. And so I joined a team to address why our community is not applying for available grants and funds to address homelessness for teens. That we're the only county in the state that doesn't apply for this grant. Not approve, apply. Our county is the only county in the state that doesn't apply for this grant. And we wanted to figure out why. And so that's the work that we did for the 100 days. But we came up to this point in the research where we were stuck on how we were going to gather the information. And then someone joined our team who had the skill set to do the research. He was the linchpin to getting the work done. The reason why I'm telling that story is because as a solopreneur, we think we have to do it alone. But in reality, groups of 3 to 5 are the most efficient at getting work done, right? Groups of 3 to 5. So as a solopreneur, you can trust yourself to engage those 2 other people to help you along. So talk about that movement from trusting yourself to open up. And sometimes that's just joining a mastermind group. So talk about that.
Sure. I mean, people have misconceptions about self-trust. They think it means they're never going to doubt. They're always going to do what they said they were going to do. And they're just going to do everything themselves. And it's not that at all. In fact, trust means being able to open up to support, being able to open up to correction, being able to open up to critiques, because you've got your own back and you know that it's only going to be received as a lesson to keep, a reason to reaffirm your own stance, or a new perspective, right? Like a different way to move forward. So yes, trust means making it safe. I call it creating internal safety when you trust yourself to feel any feeling, which means sometimes embarrassment or insecurity. Doubt's going to come. We're all going to have it. It literally exists. In fact, if you own a business and you're a solopreneur, doubt shows up a lot. It's not about not having doubt. It's about supporting yourself through the wobble and continuing to move forward.
I love that, supporting yourself through the wobble. So what you said at the beginning, there's 2 things that we've totally glossed over. Don't let me forget to come back to affirmations or lie, but let's not talk about that right now. I want to talk about what you said. Self-trust is a strategy, not a mindset.
Totally.
Because there are so many people who do the mindset work and get nothing from it. Because they're thinking that, if I only believe in myself more, or if I only believed that I deserved whatever, this success, then I would have it. But that's just belief. That's
just
not
gaslighting.
Strategy. Yeah. Exactly. You're gaslighting yourself.
Yeah.
So talk about how to turn it into a strategy.
Well, the key is to recognize that we're not always going to believe ahead of time. We can, and it is within our power. And when you have that internal operating system of self-trust, it does become easier to believe it before you see it, honestly, because there's more safety there. But the truth is, there are many things that you've accomplished in your life that you didn't believe it before, and it still happened. So I love that people are out there manifesting, believing ahead of time. That's great if it's available to you. But if it's not, and trying to force it is just like saying an affirmation you don't believe. It's a lie, because that's what your brain's going to tell you. I'm not telling you the words are actually a lie. They're probably actually true. Even the belief that you can do it is 100% true. I actually believe that for you. If you can think it and you want it, you can make it happen. But when
Make is the key word there. Make.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's effort, it's action for sure. But it starts with knowing that it's not going to be easy. There are going to be hurdles, but we don't want to face those hurdles and those challenges with a fractured inside. And that's what trying to tell yourself you believe something that you don't believe creates. That's why your brain tells you it's a lie, and you actually fracture your self-trust even more. And look, it's hard, and there are things we're going to have to come up against, and we're going to have to overcome and endure. And it's all beautiful because we're going to build resilience and amazing knowledge. I always say we learn very little when things just go the way we want them to, but we learn everything when they don't. But what we need to face all of those challenges is a united front. And so we don't want to fracture that relationship with ourselves. We want to learn how to relate with ourselves better. And so I wrote a book called Master Your Inner Dialogue, and it's all about creating that, not changing your inner thoughts, because I don't want you sitting down every day, writing down your thoughts and then rewriting them, changing them into something else fluffier and more rainbows and daisies. I just want you to relate to your inner dialogue differently, to understand it, to know that there's an origin behind it, that there is a lens that you are looking at things through, yourself, the world, different circumstances, your business. There's a tone, which, by the way, I love to tell people this because usually they're like, what? Whatever tone you hear your inner dialogue in is given, which means you can change it. Because really it's just words passing like a ticker tape through your brain. But we all assign a tone to it. And so when you can remove the sting of whatever tone that you've placed on it, start to hear it more neutrally, it opens up so much for you.
A couple of months ago, I interviewed Fletcher Ellingson, who mentioned this strategy that goes hand in hand with what you're talking about. So it's like your two episodes need to be back to back. But he said, ask yourself, when this happened to me, did I overcome it? Did I come out okay on the other side? And if the answer is yes, then that means you can do the next hard thing. Right? You're going to survive everything that you've ever done before. I mean, did I die from embarrassment when I fell down the stairs in the Madrid metro? No. Yeah. So why would I be afraid to walk down the stairs again? And
in fact, I recommend collecting those as wins. So I offer in my coaching for people to create I'm so impressed lists. So everyone here,
I like that idea.
Start one now. I keep mine in Google Docs so that I can access it on my phone and on my computer. And you just keep adding to it. So now it's like pages long. And what's beautiful about it is you add everything from I'm so impressed that I got back up after falling down the stairs at the metro in Madrid, to I'm so proud that I created that website. I'm so proud that I attended that networking event. I'm so proud that I didn't lose my patience in the grocery store line. Collect them all. And what's great is once you go to add to it, you can't help but see the ones above it, which is super fun. And then it also serves as this great tool in those moments where you're not feeling very impressive, when you're not very connected to the things that you've accomplished. It serves as a reminder to show you.
You know, if you're into using ChatGPT or other AI, you can also use that list, that document that you create, to ask ChatGPT to give you a pep talk based on your I'm so impressed list.
Okay.
You know, like there's an idea. I've just started using Google Docs with ChatGPT, and it is a game changer. It really is. But I'm loving this idea of I've made this. Here's a list of all the groovy things I've done. I'm feeling really blue today. I call my ChatGPT River. River, could you give me a pep talk? And you just connect and then your ChatGPT will tell you how awesome you are. You know, I'm sorry about my cat. He is being a jerk. But yeah, I mean that the power that you have by putting it in a Google Doc that you can access on your phone or your computer, but that you can also use in other creative ways as well.
I love that. I think that there's so many applications for it. But that's a great idea. And what you just said with a pep talk is so different. I think we have to differentiate that for your listeners. It's so different than affirmations you don't believe, because it's pulling from your truth, your real experiences, things that you have overcome, achieved, accomplished, endured, all of that. And so it is the honest way to connect to how amazing you are instead of trying to force belief of it.
I have another really good idea. You could use that list and ask ChatGPT to come up with a couple of Instagram reels or Instagram carousels posts using my life experience to encourage others to encourage my ideal audience to overcome something, or encourage my ideal audience. I mean, there's so many things you can do with this list.
So many applications. I know, it's the best. It's the best. You can use it to create fun bios, like more relatable, or just like, have you ever done this kind of reel? Or those kind of
there's
things.
so many things you can do with this. Audience, please start this list. Start your I'm so impressed list today. Start it. I'm going to start mine too. I want to talk about social media and the fakeness of it. So that I sort of stepped away from social media. I don't really engage a lot on it. And the reason why is because there are two types of people on social media. People who just hate and want to project their hate on everybody else. And they don't think, many of them don't even think it's hatred. They're self-righteous. It's self-righteousness. And the other is fake, that everything about them is perfect, right? Everything is perfect. And my life is perfect. My makeup is perfect. My clothes are perfect. I can bake a cake in high heels and pearls. And it's just so artificial. And in both of those situations, I believe that self-trust is missing.
It's possible. I mean, people decide what they want to present as. They could very well have tons of self-trust. Honestly, I wouldn't know. But if they are trying to be something that they're not, they may very well be those things, or they may have decided as a persona on social media that that's what they want to project. If they're using it more as a business avatar, that might work for them, right? I will never do that. My form of self-trust in business is going to look different than yours. And that's the key to self-trust, is really being who you want to be intentionally. And knowing that you're always going to have your own back through the lessons and through the hardship, because there's hardship when you're being authentic and completely normal. And there's hardship when you are projecting or posing or just, living into a different persona. So it's all hard. I know that the people who follow me aren't going to be the same as the people who follow the one that's doing the perfect. I'm perfect and everything's perfect, and here I am with all my perfectness.
Yeah.
And so I think that's true for all of us solopreneurs. Identify who you want to be and who you want to attract. And don't worry about the perfect person or the hater, because the people who are following them aren't your people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I always laugh at the haters, because how miserable must their life be?
Yeah.
But then I remember I used to play this video game called World of Warcraft, which is a multiplayer game. So you join these guilds and you start hanging out with people every day in this virtual world. And there was a married couple, and the male of the married couple was just awful. He was just gross, right? He always made gross comments, and he was just mean. And his wife was so sweet. And I was like, why is he that way? And she goes, he's not like that in real life at all. He's never like that in real life. And so he allowed this fake game to give him a platform to be ugly. Right. And I'm not saying it was ugly. It was just snarky. right? He wasn't pleasant to talk to because he was just, negative. But that is something that happens a lot on social, is that people put up that facade that you mentioned earlier. Because the chicks who are baking the cakes and the high heels and the pearls and the perfect makeup, that's probably not what they really look like every day. you know? But it puts an expectation on the watcher. Oh, well, if she can bake a cake with pearls and makeup, I should be able to bake a cake from scratch with pearls and makeup too. And
well, I mean, that's where the self-trust comes in, to be honest with you, is when you see those things deciding, like you may like something, you might think that looks really cool, but you get to decide whether you start holding yourself up to that expectation or not. So we're not going to give them the ownership of our expectations. That's where self-trust comes in more than anything.
And so that means that it's missing from a lot of people.
Can be.
I don't think we would be where we are, and this might not be what you want to talk about, but I'm talking about it. I don't think we would be where we are with social media, with all this fakeness, if people trusted themselves more.
I think you're probably not wrong, right? I mean, there's a lot of, and that goes to just over consumption, over, information overload, where we start to defer our wisdom and our intellect to what we're seeing. So I talk about it as lobby noise when we're pulling what we should be, or just live most of our lives we live in the lobby noise. That's just normal. Don't think that you need to change that. It's it's full of beautiful things too. It's got our insecurities and our doubts in there, but in the lobby are also like mentors that we admire and experts that have really moved us, and our moms and our just people, our friends, our family. So there's nothing wrong with that. We're going to live a lot of the time in the lobby, but we have to intentionally step into the inner room as often as possible to give our own wisdom chance to come forward and to really listen into who we want to be based on our own values and our own desires, not based on what we're hearing in the lobby.
This analogy is actually pretty good. I like it. So your lobby is huge, and your living room is a little bit smaller, but your kitchen's tiny because the people that you allow in to see how it works behind the scenes, how you prepare the dish. I guess you need a dining room too. Yes, it goes lobby, dining room, kitchen, if it's only 3 rooms, because the dining room is where they consume what you create, right? But to let them into the kitchen. But I also think that the self-trust should allow you to show them what's in the kitchen too.
Yeah, if you want to. Make those decisions based on true desire, not on urgency to be something you're not, or urgency to fix something or to change someone. So self-trust means being really connected to who you want to be and what you want to accomplish. So if your goal is to grow your business, we can, and probably many solopreneurs will identify this, we can get into those moments where, of course, we're procrastinating, or we're, living in the I don't know, and is this even working? But there's also the moments where we get really urgent, where we're rushing into things. And both of those can be a lack of self-trust. We want to find that intentionality, the structure that supports us in moving forward, the decisions that we want to make that actually, and then filtering our actions through those decisions. Is this moving me closer to the goal that I have in my business, or is it moving me further away from it? And really using that to help you make decisions on how you show up, where you show up, to whom you show up, who you invite into your space.
And that's the strategy. The strategy is, I'm not just going to throw darts at the wall. I'm going to throw darts at the wall in an order. no, that doesn't work. But, throwing darts at the wall sometimes does work. I mean, it helps you figure out.
In the beginning, I think we're all throwing darts at the wall in the beginning. You have to start somewhere. And exactly. As long as you're learning from those darts that you've thrown, like, okay, that didn't work. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with me or my business or my goals. It just means that one particular way doesn't work for me. What's the next hypothesis? Yeah. So we have to glean the data from the dart throws.
Yeah. And I think that is the step that many people skip.
Oh, yeah. They just say it worked or it didn't work. And again,
because
that's that binary thinking.
data mining is so boring for a lot of people, but for others, it's exciting, you know? But
That's
that
the
might be,
mindset.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that goes back to the work that I just wrapped up with the innovation hub, now I forgot what it was called. You know, the 100-day challenge I just finished up. The the gentleman who joined our group, who knew how to manipulate the data, it was like a 180-degree transformation for our group. So sometimes maybe you just need an outside perspective. You need to hire a coach who can help you look at it differently. Or you hire an accountant who helps you look at your numbers differently. Or I mean, sometimes you do just need to have that extra set of eyes. Sometimes it's just a mastermind group, but sometimes you just need that extra set of eyes on the data because you can't see it, or you have the mindset that I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want
Totally.
to.
And if you don't
Yeah.
want to look at it, it means you should have somebody look at it with you, for sure.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
perspective really is in everything. I also, besides coaching, I mentor coaches. And I had a coach come to me the other day and, was like, oh, I'm all over the place. I want to do this, but I really, here's all the things I want to do. And it just, in one moment, I could see that they were all very related, and we were able to put it together in a very concise niche that didn't mean picking one or the other. And it was really beautiful but we can't see what we can't see. And sometimes we're just too close to it to be able to zoom out and see a different perspective. And that's where a mentor or a coach or just a trusted advisor is really important, especially for us as solopreneurs, because we can get easily boxed into our own binary thinking, even if we just can't always ask the right questions of ourselves. Even as long as I've been coaching and as many hours as I have coaching, I have to have an outside perspective. It helps.
Yeah, it does help. And sometimes you need a coach for one area of your business, and sometimes like right now I have a podcast coach. I don't have you hire what you need at the time if you're smart. But
Yeah.
it's always good to have somebody in your back pocket.
And what you need is going to evolve, and knowing that that's true and meeting yourself where you're at is part of that self-trust, is not trying to fix yourself into one box.
So speaking of coaching, you have coached over 6,000 people. What is the common similarity that you find with women and their mindset? What is that one thing that most women have in common that you have coached?
There's a couple of things, right? Like, obviously, self-trust is a key factor in all of it, but what we see often is doubt as a dead end instead of as an entry point. And so when you come to me with doubt as like, I just don't think I can do this, as if that's a fact, as if you just laid it in front of me as this like platter of crap, and I'm just supposed to start digesting it. And it's so fun when I'm very clear that that is not what we're going to do. It's good to know that it's the starting point. Doubt is not a problem. And when we get into that true desire to learn from ourselves and to grow, because, hey, you're a solopreneur, you intentionally have put yourself in difficult situations.
Oh, yeah.
And intentional discomfort is a real thing. We have a part of us that is always seeking comfort to avoid pain and to conserve energy, right? It's wired in our kind of survival brain. But there's also a part of us that likes expansion and growth. And we want to answer that. And so doubt gives us an indication of what is going on. And oftentimes, so much of what we doubt hides superpowers underneath. Like, you're doubting something about yourself, and it actually is either something you actually behold that is powerful and you're just not seeing it. And when we're doubting and we think doubt is the final say, we literally can't see it. It's over here, but we're focused over here at the doubt. Or it's an invitation because it's telling you this is what my clients are experiencing. And it's helping you connect with what to address for them.
So dig into that.
So yeah, oftentimes I think every doubt that we hear or comment that doesn't sound supportive or criticism is an invitation to do one of two things. To either affirm ourselves, like think about it, like having a devil's advocate. We actually pay people to kind of counter what we say, just to kind of spark ideas, right? And you have that internally. So if it's saying something you don't believe, like you'll never be able to do this, you can actually receive it as an invitation for, oh, thank you for reminding me I know I can do this. Thank you for reminding me that even if I can't, I'm so in for trying. The other invitation is to see if there's just a different perspective. Is this something that would be helpful for me to address for someone else? Is this here knocking because there's like a better way to do this, a better way to massage either the process or the placement or, you know, who I'm directing it towards?
You know, doubt is also an opportunity to say, I don't know if I can do this, but I know I can try.
Yeah.
And so you can doubt that you'll have the outcome that you want, but you don't doubt that you can give it your best shot. Like
Totally.
throw a football. You either, you know, gonna make it. I'm gonna hit it through the goal. I don't know how football works. I'm gonna hit it through the goal post, or I think you have to kick it to hit it through the goal post. In football, I don't know. but you know, I'm gonna hit the goal, or I'm not gonna not try.
Totally. I always use the analogy, I have to sing at church and I can't sing. I'm terrible. And I mean, I say I have to, I don't have to, obviously, but it's just part of how I serve, like during the midweek, not on major days, and it's not pleasant for anyone, but they're also not judging me. They're probably saying, better her than me, right? Like, no big deal. And I can do that because I know that it's, one, not in my power to actually affect someone else's experience there, but also because I know that no matter what happens, no matter how bad I sound, or maybe there's days where I sound a little bit better, I can do it. Like, I've got my own back. I'm not going to die. It actually strengthens me to be willing to show up in tons of different ways in my business.
Well, and singing is so good for your body. It helps bring in oxygen. It opens up your chest. There's so many reasons why you should sing, even if you sing poorly.
Okay, I'm
Singing
glad
is
to hear
good
that.
for you. And it's joyous. Even if you were singing horribly, if you're singing along to a song that you love, it makes you happy.
Yeah.
You know, singing, if you're singing along to a song that makes you cry, I mean, singing is so emotive.
It is.
It's so emotive. So people should sing.
I love that.
People should sing. All right, you have a free gift for the audience. It's a 7-day self-trust boost. 7-day self-trust boost. Talk about your gift for the audience.
Yes. So this is a great way to connect to the self-trust you already have. And I promise you do, even for those of you that are like, I always second guess. I always do this. I promise you have it. So the 7-day boost is connecting you to it and helping you build it so that you can grow your self-trust, so that you can start to create that strategic system of self-trust in your business. And it's 7 days, a quick email each day over 7 days, probably like a 2-minute read and an exercise for you to do that will take you all of 10 minutes. So I highly recommend it. It's powerful in getting you to make clearer, more aligned decisions in your business, follow through, and have your own back on the other side.
Yeah, have your own back. I love that. I have my own back. I love that phrase. So, Dawn Ledet, this is your moment of gratitude. For whom or what are you most grateful?
I am most grateful for my family and my friends, and I have a new book that came out today.
Congratulations. So it came out last month, y'all.
Yes. So whenever you're hearing this, it came out in June. And so I'm just grateful for all the love and the support that I have around that. And yeah, feel pretty.
So what's the title of your book?
The new book is Trust, Surrender, Obey, and it's faith lessons from my rescue dogs.
From your rescue dogs. Oh my gosh. What a great angle. Because dogs, usually I end with the moment of gratitude. Y'all, we're not following the normal system today. We're not going to end on the moment of gratitude today. We're going to talk about dogs and then we'll wrap up. So, dogs have this innate ability to know who to trust. And once you earn their trust, they are loyal. We can learn a lot from dogs.
Well, so Candace, one of my two that I kept, I did a lot of fostering, a ton. I have so many stories I could tell you about it. But at some point I had 13 dogs in my house during the height of the pandemic. But one of the rescues, they call them rescue fails, right? Foster fails, when you keep one of your fosters. And I have two of them. They actually are a mother-daughter duo. They didn't come together, though. They came to me at different times. The mom was feral and was living on the street. So when I got her, she didn't trust anything. I would have to I'd have to go in my bedroom and close the door and leave the door to the yard open. That's the only way she would go out and come in. So it took teaching about a car, because that's how she was captured. She was thrown into a car in a crate. So that scared the heck out of her. I had to teach her about being on a leash, about trusting a human, about everything. And now you could see photos, if you follow me on any social media, she snuggles up against me. She sleeps in bed. It is that building of trust that has really impacted me so much. And that's part of the stories in the book. It's 40 plus, like 45 short stories. It's not meant to be a read front to back. I mean, you can, and some people will, but it's kind of one of those you pick up and you read one of the stories and you put it down and you kind of ponder.
So trust can be developed. Like, self-trust can be developed. This is my cat, Luna, the black and white cow cat. She and my husband did not have a relationship at all. And then he started playing a game with her where he would throw treats and she would chase them. And she looks forward to playing that game every day. But still, even though they played the game together, she still didn't go near him. But now she rubs up against his leg. She puts her paw on his foot. She doesn't quite let him touch her, but she touches him, and they're developing a relationship. It's taking time because she's very skittish. I mean, some animals are, in your face. They want your love, and some animals are like, I'm going to sit here and look at you, and you can touch me, but that's it. you know? And their relationship is developing over time because they've put some effort into it. They both put some effort into it, right?
And because he was patient, he didn't try and rush her into it. And I think we can take that lesson into our businesses as well. Like, not forcing it, not rushing into it, letting it evolve and blossom. When we're doing that evaluation for data by really learning and watching and not shutting ourselves down for every mistake, we're not only building trust with ourselves, we're letting things evolve in a way that's going to be so true to you and the impact you want to make.
Thanks for tuning in to Gratitude Geek, the podcast for female solopreneurs over 40, building genuine, lasting connections with clients, colleagues, and community. Our theme music is by Rev Brock and Soul Lily. To connect with Dawn Ledet and check out the resources we've mentioned today, head over to the show notes at gratitudegeek.com. This is episode 282. I've been your host, Candace Rodarty. Stay groovy, my friends.
Stay groovy, my friends.